everyone. So we're here today with Victoria Worley, right? I always think of you as Victoria Rose. Victoria Worley on Bells and Balance. And I wanted to talk to Victoria today because she's somebody who really inspires me. She has had like so many different health issues thrown her way and so many like different like weird things that have happened over the past probably year or so, and she's like always kicking ass. Like she's always doing her workouts, she's always making sure that she's like improving herself, and so I thought that that would be a really good topic for us to talk about today. So welcome and thank you for agreeing to do this with us. Can you just let's start off by just tell me a little bit about some of the health issues that you've been facing. I know you deal with Bell's palsy that like kind of comes in and out of the blue a lot of times. So can you just talk about like what that's like for you?
Yeah, so actually last night I didn't think I would make it through the night without going to the ER.
Oh, wow.
I told Jose that I think we might have to go.
Oof.
Because for the last 2 days, not yesterday, but the day before at work, I was updating the floor, so walking around with like a tablet and updating tables. And in the middle of the ballroom, I actually, like, my nerve tensed up. I got dizzy and almost fell over, like at work. And so for the last 2 days, it's been, and that's pretty much just what it does. It randomly decides, like, okay, well, your nerve is going to act up now, and I can't do anything. So last night when I got off work, I spent like the whole night massaging my neck, trying to get like my facial nerve. If you don't know what Bell's palsy is, it's when your facial nerve tenses up and gets bigger, basically, than the little teeny tiny hole that it goes through.
Okay.
And it basically gives you stroke symptoms. So without having a stroke, which is great, but not good for having Bell's palsy because there's no cure, there's nothing. They don't know much about it. They don't even know why it happens, where it comes from. They think it's a viral thing, but mine seems to be a stress thing. So it basically just it hinders your ability to do anything. I mean, I couldn't even stand up and cook dinner last night.
Wow.
At home, I just had to lay down. And it feels like there's basically a migraine, but if you like quadruple like what a migraine would feel like, that's what it feels like.
That's awful because I suffer from migraines and they are not fun at all. So I can't even imagine.
When I didn't think I would make it to the gym today, but sometimes working out really helps it relax, which seems kind of like opposite. But yeah, working out has really helped like it relax a lot. So there's that.
That's really good. I'm glad that you said that, and that's really good to know for that particular ailment, because I know, like, for me, like when I get migraines, like I'm done. Like I can't. But since I started working out, sometimes it actually, if I can feel a migraine coming on, if I work out, it actually alleviates the symptoms. And I tell people that all the time, even with like menstrual cramps and like all kinds of different things. Like if you just move your body, it helps so much. But a lot of people feel like they're afraid to, or they just want to rest, but sometimes rest is not the best thing.
No, I also suffer from like really bad like menstrual cramps, and also I have cysts. And when they start to act up, if I get my blood flowing, I feel so much better. Like I know that I want to sit on my couch and like watch Netflix and like eat ice cream, but I'm like, okay, let's just go, and then I feel like 1,000 times better. Even if it doesn't help completely, I'm like, okay, the blood's flowing and it's getting things going and moving along. And same thing with the head and the nerves. It obviously just helps everything, function a little bit easier.
Totally. Yeah, no, I definitely see that. And with the Bell's palsy, I don't know if you remember, but my mother-in-law had an issue with it a few months ago, and it was really scary. Like we thought, because she's one of those people that like doesn't want to bother anybody. So we heard about it from Rudy's sister, and then Rudy called his mom and she was like, well, like the whole side of my face is drooping. And I was like, oh my God, I think she had a stroke. You need to find out like what's going on. So he brought her and they did some testing and stuff, and it ended up being Bell's palsy. And she said that she almost felt like she had the flu or something, and then she had like her eye was completely closed, and it took a little while for it to go away, and luckily it hasn't come back. But I mean, I don't know a lot of people who have it, but I know for you, like you have recurrences of it fairly often.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like some people are like, that's not possible, it can't happen all the time. And honestly, like it's one of those medical things that they don't really know much about. And it can come back immediately. It can come back in 10 years. It can never come back.
Wow.
And it can come back in different ways. Like my face, like I took a Snapchat last night. I was like, this is awful. My eye is closed. And I was really upset about it. But at least when it comes back, I can say at least it's not as bad as the first time when I had my Bell's palsy. That was it. They were like, you have Bell's palsy. It's not a stroke. Because I don't know if you remember, but I couldn't move my face at all. I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink. It was awful. I was afraid to go to work.
How long ago was that it first came on?
It was a little over a year ago. It was February of last year. So,
okay, I couldn't remember if it was something you'd been dealing with for like longer than that, or if it was more
yeah,
recent.
and it literally came out of nowhere. I was at the bar at work working, and I turned to the guy I was working with, and I said, I can't feel my lips. This feels really weird. And he's like, maybe you should go to the doctor. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I just have like I was working and
I know.
And then when I went to bed and I woke up the next day, I couldn't move my face at all. It was like that. It just happened.
That must have been terrifying.
It was really scary because my roommate Dan, and he's one of my really good friends. He's works for 911 and everything, and he's like, you are having a stroke. And I was like, no, I'm not having a stroke. No. You need to go to the doctor now. And I was like, okay, I guess.
Wow.
So,
yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine. So for those of you who don't know, Victoria works for Disney, and she is a cast member in the Be Our Guest restaurant. And how long have you worked there?
A little over 2 years.
Oh, wow.
2 years, yeah.
And you work a pretty crazy schedule. Is it consistent or is it different every week?
I mean, I make my own schedule for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday because I'm part-time.
Okay.
But every Wednesday through Saturday I work. I only work nights because I work the table service side. So usually 3 p.m. until about midnight, 1 a.m. depending. Yeah.
Okay. And do you find that like time management with your work, because you're very dedicated to your workouts, do you work out at the same time every day? Do you have like a schedule, or do you just sort of like do it whenever?
I try to stick to a schedule. I much prefer to stick to a schedule. My schedule used to be that I would actually work out after work. So whenever I got home at 1 a.m. or, whatever it was, I would have a snack because I try not to eat a big meal that late. Have a snack and work out. But I realized that it was making, because I do a lot of cardio, I do a lot of shanti. So I wasn't able to go to sleep because afterwards I was like, yay, let's do things. 2 in the morning. So I've been trying to work out before work, and it just sometimes it doesn't work out for me because I also take my boyfriend to work at 7 or 8 a.m. sometimes.
Okay.
Because we share a car, and so then I come back and take a nap, and I don't get up in time to go to work by 3. Because even though I live 5 minutes from work, it still takes. I have to take a bus, and Magic Kingdom's a whole monster of its own to work
Sure.
at. Yeah. So
yeah, Magic Kingdom's kind of a pain to get to. With like the transportation hub and the boats and everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, and you have to take a bus if you are working. So and it takes you, backstage, and so it takes a lot longer. So you have to give yourself time.
Right. How long does it take
to work out?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I literally live 2 minutes away, so there's that. Parking is a monster, so that could take 30 minutes. But once I get on the bus to where the bus drops us off, it's roughly a 5 to 10 minute bus ride. But the buses themselves, you have to wait. They have to wait for the bus to be behind it, so that can add time. Sometimes the bus drivers are slow, that can add time. Luckily, my location is right outside the bus stop, so I don't even have to go through those forbidden tunnels.
Nice.
But a lot of people do have to go through the tunnels, and they take a lot longer. So lucky me.
Yeah, I guess that's not so bad. But yeah, that must be kind of you have to plan for all of that stuff and driving your boyfriend to work and everything.
Yeah.
So you don't work out every day, do you?
No, I would like to, but no.
I mean, it doesn't always work out that way. And I know the program I'm doing right now, it's hour workouts, and I had to really shuffle stuff, but I also have a very consistent schedule with my job. So it's a little bit easier. And so that's why I love talking to all of these women who have these crazy schedules and juggling all this stuff. Cause it's how do you do it? Because I know a lot of people that I talk to who want to get more into a fitness routine. They always say well, I don't have the time. And it's well, yeah, you do. You just have to figure it out. And I mean, if it's something, if you're dedicated, you will figure it out. And I know, that was one of the reasons that I thought of you as somebody I'd like to talk to for the podcast, is that you always find a way. I mean, what happened today? Tell me what happened today with your body.
So I I haven't done anything besides Shanti in a while. Shanti and running, that's all I've been doing. And I woke up today and I was like, you know what? I want to do some shift shop, right? So
Yes.
I get to the gym because I still do the beach body on demand, but I do it at the gym because I live on the third floor of an apartment complex, and I have a dog that thinks working out means playing with him. So I turned my computer on, did everything, got the whole process going, pulled up Beachbody on demand, logged in, everything was fine. I'm like, yeah, all right, it's working, but like faster than usual. And then I clicked on the shift shop and it locked, everything had locks on it. And I was like, no, no, I'm paid up until the end of the month. What are you saying? What is happening? And I started freaking out. And when I clicked on anything, it would send me to this like weird link that was like, you need to re-up your membership. And I was like, no, I don't, not yet.
Oh
And
boy.
so I was getting frustrated. And I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll just run. But I didn't have time to just run right now until after I'm off of this. And so I called Beachbody on demand. I was like, hey, what's going on? They were like, okay, let's reset your password and you're good. And I screamed. I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, it was fantastic. So yeah, and then I started doing some yoga. I'm laying on my yoga mat right now. So
Nice.
yeah.
But so you ended up having to do your workout like right before this. So we're both in our workout gear. So I still have like that post-workout glow going on. So
yeah, so it's, you just kind of got to go with the flow, see what happens.
totally. Yeah. And I mean, that's the whole thing. You have to make it work for you. And sometimes you have to sacrifice other things. Like, for example, today, like usually when I do these interviews and anytime I'm on video, like I try to like be showered, like have some makeup on and stuff. And it was like, it just didn't happen today, but that's okay. Like,
that's all right.
It is what it is. And I mean, to be honest, like my workout is one of the most important aspects of my day. So that has to take precedence over other stuff. And sometimes that means it takes precedence over showering. It just is what it is.
You just got to do it. Sometimes I'm working out and then I realize I have 30 minutes to get ready for work and showers don't happen, but that's okay because I live in Florida and showers don't really mean
sweaty by the time you walk in anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've like really like my makeup routine is very low key now because like I won't usually go to work without any makeup, but I'll just do like a quick like mascara and powder and I'm like, I'm good to go. I just don't spend a lot of time on it because like who cares?
Yep. If I spend time on it, by the time I get to work, I'm like, why? Why did I?
Yeah, it's probably like melted off. Yeah, for
we
sure.
have a cast member that's leaving that I've worked with for the last 2 years, and yesterday I put makeup on to look pretty for a picture. And as soon as I got there, I was like, you need to take a picture now because this is not going to
hurry up. Too funny. I wanted to ask you about running too because you're fairly new to running, right?
Yes.
And you've been loving the Run Disney races.
I have. I've been loving them so much.
Nice. So tell me a little bit about that. Like what got you interested in running, what your experience was like for your first run, upcoming runs, stuff like that.
So actually when I moved out here, I realized that like this whole Run Disney thing, like I never really heard a lot about it before I lived here, even though I was very into like all the Disney stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't something I paid attention to, but then, working here, you have to like go around all the, like the race, the marathon stuff. It really affects like your whole week that week because they start setting up like as the week starts and you're like, what is going on? Oh, there must be a marathon this weekend. And so I kept like hearing, and everyone's here and they're like, oh my gosh, these are amazing. Run Disney is everything. And I'm like, whatever, running. I will never run unless
to do that.
I don't understand what you people are saying. But then I was like, okay, well, I mean, everyone really loves Princess Weekend and it sounds really fun. And it was the next sign up, like when I realized I was like, all right, well, like, what is this Run Disney thing? And so I was like, all right, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to do it. And a bunch of people were like, yeah, you totally got this. You can do it. And then I saw like you and Rudy were like always running. And I was like, all right, like, maybe I can do this. Like, all right. And so I was actually in Pandora for like, I want to say I was like for a special like viewing before Pandora was even open. And somebody posted was like, okay, princess signups are in like 30 minutes. And so I literally sat outside a Flight of Passage and signed up for the 5K. My phone wouldn't work. So Dan actually signed up for both of us. Like it was crazy. So Dan signed up for both of us, and Dan doesn't run either. So, and he didn't quite get into it like I did, but we were like, okay, we're going to do this together. And we did. we did the 5K. We didn't run most of it. We were going to run a lot of it, but neither of us had ever run before.
Right.
And Dan had a bit of a hard time, so I stayed back with him, and I was definitely helping him. He didn't want to go across the finish line, and I was like, no, we're doing this. And by the time I got over the finish line, I was like, all right, this is really cool. And this is a really good feeling. So I was like, all right, well, I'll sign up for another race. I'll give it another try. Did not get Star Wars in time. It just didn't really occur to me. I wasn't like, okay, yeah, Star Wars signups, yes. But then they opened the 10K out of nowhere again, and I signed up on a whim that night, based upon a couple of the members in the Run Disney group that were telling me to sign up for it. I did, and then I ran it, and now I'm obsessed. I can't stop.
They're so addicting. And I think, you hit the nail on the head. It felt really good when you finish, and that's what you remember. Whenever we do a race, and anybody who doesn't know about how the Run Disney races go, you're in Florida and it's hot. So, and they have parks to run and stuff. So they do it super early in the morning. So you've got to get up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And then a lot of times people wear costumes and stuff. And so you've got to do all that and then get to the race, which is sometimes a little bit of a hassle. And during that whole process, I'm like, why did we sign up for this?
Every time.
Every
why?
single time. It's still dark outside and we're exhausted. And I'm like, why? And then as soon as those fireworks start going off at the start line and you start going, I'm like, oh yeah, this is why. And even during the race, sometimes I'm kind of this sucks. But then there's so much going on and there's just so much great energy. And by the time you're done, you're like, I can't wait to do the next one. It's so crazy. All the different emotions that you go through, but it is definitely addicting.
Yeah, and I'm having a little bit of a hard time now, trying to run outside, because again, I live in Florida.
Yes.
And my schedule is insane. And I can't run when the sun goes down because I'm at work. I can't run when the sun comes up because I've just gone to bed 2 hours prior.
Right.
And so I'm stuck either running on the treadmill, which I hate. Oh, the lights just went off. It has timer activated. Let me see if I can turn it back on.
That's how my office at work is too, and I have to go like this. And then
and so I either have to run in the day noon, when the sun and humidity is awful, 98% humidity, or run on the treadmill, which I hate, because it just doesn't feel the same.
It doesn't at all, and it's
super
boring.
But it's not the same.
Right.
So I have been running on the treadmill a lot, and it's really boring to me. So I'm trying to fix my schedule to where I can run outside again, because I really need to practice for Wine and Dine.
Yes, and what races are you doing for Wine and Dine?
All three.
You are, okay.
I'm insane. I don't know why I did this to myself. I think I was just like, you know what, go all in or don't go at all.
Yeah.
I'm doing the 5K and the challenge. So,
nice.
And my mom will be here. It'll be the first time she's been
nice.
here since I've lived here. I haven't seen her in 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
She came to support me.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I will go across the finish line for all 3 of those.
Good for you.
And she asked me if I was okay because I signed up for all these races. She's like, are you okay?
Are you mentally stable?
Yeah, she was like, this is not like you. I was like, yeah, I get it. I was never a runner. So that's proof right there.
Right.
Never a runner. I was a dancer. So, there's that, but never a runner.
Yeah, it's very different.
So I'm really excited and super nervous.
Yeah.
I almost don't want to train just so that I can be like, okay, go, just do it and go.
Right.
But I feel like I really need to train a lot.
Yeah, I'm feeling that because we're doing the challenge. We're not doing the 5K this time. But yeah, it's a lot. You know what I mean? Talking about getting up early, to do it 2 or 3 days in a row and run that far. It's just it totally messes with your sleep patterns. And yeah, so I know, but I think it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
It'll be really fun. I'm very excited. And I'm super excited for the after party.
Yes.
Go to Food and Wine with just a bunch of runners that are hungry. Basically.
Yes. We're all so hungry. That's going to be awesome. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Or one of the questions that I like to ask people is on your really hard days, how do you keep going? How do you stick to the things that you need to do to reach your goals?
This is something that I've been thinking about a lot. I've been having a lot of really hard days. I've not wanted to, but when I get really depressed, especially when my Bell's palsy, like kicks in,
Sure.
and it really frustrates me. And I actually have this really great support system that I didn't know I had. Besides the fact that I have like basically everybody like online, like, everybody in all the crazy groups and everything, like everyone's awesome. But at work, I really thought people weren't not as nice as they are. Like they never seemed as nice as they are. But recently, pretty much every day I've been getting like a different person that I didn't even know followed like me and like my workouts and like
Oh,
all this stuff.
wow.
Somebody will come up to me and be like, you're really inspiring. Or they'll come up and be like, where are you going? You're completely disappearing. Because I've gone down a lot of sizes in my
You
work clothes,
definitely have.
which is huge because Disney sizes are much different than regular sizes. So I've gone down a lot, like 3 or 4, which is
Wow.
big. And so, like, it'll be someone I didn't even know even followed me at all on Instagram or anything, and they'll be like, hey, you're just, you inspired me. I got up and I worked out yesterday, or like I went for a walk yesterday, or I got up and ran, or I'm gonna sign up for a race. And so that keeps me going, because if I can get somebody else up or somebody else off the couch, or even to take a walk, that's big to me, because that's really all I want to do. Is I really just want to inspire somebody else to do it too.
Yeah.
And if I can look great in the process, that totally helps. But definitely the inspiring other people helps me keep going.
Yeah, I mean, me, I can totally relate to that. Like, that is like what gets me going, is when people say that, it's like, oh my God, I have to keep going because I don't want to let them down. So yeah, and you definitely, I mean, because I mean, I haven't gotten into this well, I haven't gotten into it a ton on the podcast yet, but like my health issues and stuff, I have hard days too, and there are some days where I'm just like, why am I even bothering? Like, I can't lose weight because of the stuff that's going on right now. And like, I might as well just like enjoy myself and do whatever. But then I see people like you who are also dealing with health issues, who are totally kicking ass. And it's like, all right, if she can do it, so can I. So thank you for that. And, I mean, I think it really, it's inspiring, and I think that it's important for us to do that, because like, if somebody hadn't done it for me, I don't know that I ever would have started, and if somebody hadn't done it for you, I don't know that you would have ever started. Like, you get that like inspiration and seeing that other people are able to do it, and it just makes a difference in your mindset about how you think about all of like this whole health and fitness thing.
Yep, it totally does. It really helps. And people are always like, oh, why you take a selfie if you went to the gym? Like, nobody cares if you took a selfie. But like, they do. People do care.
They do.
And it's like a huge thing. Like, if they see it, you don't know what someone's going through, and maybe a workout could help them. Honestly.
Totally. And I mean, I think sometimes people think, and I know like Amy Silverman, who is my Beachbody coach, my sponsor, she gets a lot of like people saying like, oh, you're so self-absorbed, and you're always taking pictures of yourself and stuff. And she's like, whatever, and I remember being scared of that in the beginning, but the people who think that aren't really your people anyway. So who cares? It's not about, because I hate taking selfies. You wouldn't know it from looking at my feed, because like, it's like all selfies, but I do it because I want people to see that like, I'm showing up, I'm doing my workouts, I'm doing the stuff that I need to do. And I mean, I've gotten a ton of people who say like, that keeps me going. Like, knowing that you're doing it with all the stuff that you're dealing with keeps me going. And so that's why we post the selfies. It's not because we're like, oh, look at how hot I look, because like, that is so not
I don't. At all. Yeah, if they saw how many selfies it took to get that one that
I know
online,
all the filters like, oh, and all the like, I'm always like walking around like, where's the best lighting and like, what's the best angle? So yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's not always easy to like share your story and stuff, so I really appreciate your willingness to just like talk to us about your health issues and your life and everything. I just find you to be super inspiring. So I'm glad that you were able to share this with everybody, with the whole world now.
Thank you. I'm excited. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So I'm going to stop the recording now, and then we'll chat.